Let's talk about how much money that is, because it's going to scare a lot of you. I just had a client who spent $40,000 on reports even before they had a building permit. There we go. So let's talk about those teams. So do you want to address that one, Marty? You got the standing stick, so Stan.
Yeah, that large amount of money you mentioned for all those consultants' reports, like you might need a native vegetation expert to say that, the trees of the significant tree is a big tree, you might damage the roots or something. So you need an expert to say, no, that tree is not going to be damaged, or it might be something to do with the bushfire attack level. You need a consultant to, argue your case for putting your house, closer to the trees than perhaps you should or something. So, there's a whole small army of consultants. But going back to what I was saying before, about this idea of making natural building just sort of part of the construction code, and that will reduce the number of consultants that you need you probably still need the native veg consultant and the bushfire consultant. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
So people start yelling out consultants they've had to pay for. We've talked about bushfire. You usually have to get a geotechnical report to know what kind of soils you're sitting on. You obviously need your designer or architect. Who else? Give me some more consultants people have had to work with. Engineering, correct, for slab, for walls, for roof.
Wastewater engineer.
Wastewater, what else? Energy rating. Correct. These are all, none of this is...
So if we take all of those and say,
stand up,
you must do all those things no matter what materials you use. The things that are unique to natural building are the performance solutions. There's no others, are there?
It depends on where your location is at, because it'll vary in that regard. But yes, on the whole, if you want to use sustainable building materials, you're talking about having a performance solution to accompany that.
Yeah, and then most of us now, we're talking about new buildings, so we're talking about the NCC 2022. There's I don't really know how NCC changes work. They seem to kind of slip in little bits of change for a really long time. And so I've still got building surveyors with projects we're putting in now saying we can assess that against 2019 until May. I would have thought that 2022, we're 2024? So I'm not sure.
Doing 2019 as long as I can.
Yeah, that's right. Why is that the case? Because 2022 is harder. Even with 2019, when we did an energy rating, we can do what's called a deemed to satisfy energy rating. And we could just say, yes, this building that we're building is better than a reference building that the construction code has. When we get to 2022, if your roof is a different colour to the colour it says it's got to be, which is the light reflectance of the roof, you have to do a whole report and a performance-based energy rating. And so 2022 NCC's changed. They're actually working on the 2025 NCC at the moment, though. So we're expecting all of those levels to increase a step further.
How do you think we could do it so that the process could be more ecological rather than reductionistic? Because it's dividing it into all the separate bits, you then have to generate a report for all of the separate bits. So how could ecological thinking inform how we do this otherwise?
Would anyone else like to answer that? I've got an answer, but...
Go for it, Alvin.
Yeah, okay. So the question was, rather than cutting these all up into little pieces of all of these different performance solutions, is there a way that we can look at it as a system? And the answer is yes. So I'll give you an example of a recent project. We had a roof made of calcimane stone tiles. Why do we do that? Because it's the lowest embodied energy, embodied carbon, longest lasting roof that you could use. No one's doing that. It's like a new thing. You've got to go back to old buildings in Switzerland or southern Spain or the Italian Alps to see where that's been used for thousands of years as a construction system. We had hempcrete walls. We had an area that was partly underground, needed waterproofing. We had a stone wall. If you're not aware, a stone wall is not part of the construction code. You need a performance solution for a stone wall. And what we did is we went to the various building surveyors who provide performance solutions. We said, we want all of this wrapped up into one performance solution that deals with all of these issues as one report. And so what we did, I can't remember the cost, it was $3,000 or $4,000. Normally, every single one of those things we would have as a separate report done, sometimes even by separate people who have separate expertise. It took us quite a while to find somebody who said, I can write you a report and I'm happy to on all those things.